Raikan Topani is for Thai drama lovers only. Sawadee-kha, hello and welcome to Axelle's Guide to Thai Dramas. I am Axelle and the Thai drama we're talking about today is The X Morning. If you find my voice too raspy, it's because this is my third podcast episode that I'm recording today. Also, I literally woke up with my voice already raspy. And I was like, you know what's gonna make it better talking for 4 hours in a podcast mic. So here we are. So today we're talking about The X Morning. Let's get on to it. I actually have to see a friend after this, so I'm gonna try to be quick and succinct, even though it is not in my blood. So my first impression of the show. So I think we have to go back. So I actually have a weird link to Chris Singto and especially Sotas, the series, because it's the first ever Thai drama that I watched all the way back in like March or April 2017. And it is a show that without a doubt has changed the course of my life. It is a show that because I clicked on it, I discovered all the other BL shows that were out at the time. I got into Thai culture. I fell in love with Thai dramas and Thai BL, especially in 2019. Started listening to Thai music. Traveled for my very first time to Thailand in 2019. And then moved to Thailand in 2022. And I had never had Thailand on my radar until I clicked on Sotas, the series. So I do credit this show for changing the very course of my life, which is crazy. And that's why I also have such an attachment to Thai dramas, is that it's not just content, it's not just entertainment that I've watched mindlessly when I was 18 and now that I'm 26, it's also something that has shaped my life and where I've decided to move it. So it's crazy. But I have never been really a huge Chris Singto fan. I remember I liked Sotas, but even when I started watching other Thai BL at the time that was out, I actually fell in love with other shows quicker. My favorite show that I watched, I think it was the third or fourth BL drama that I've ever watched, which was Two Moons, was actually my favorite at the time. And since then, Sotas has remained a drama that I look fondly upon. I think I rewatched it once or twice, but haven't rewatched it in like 4 years. But it's never been my favorite Thai drama. And I've never been quite the Chris Singto fan either as a couple or a pairing or individually. I don't really care for them individually that much. I've seen Chris in a lot of shows because he's been in every GMMTV show under the sun. I've seen Singto in a lot of shows as well, but not as much as Chris. And I've never had a really personal attachment to this pairing outside of, again, this was my first ever BL pairing that I watched a show of. And it, again, has impacted my life in more ways than one. And I got to see Chris and Singto as their goodbye in the Love Out Loud Fan Fest in 2022, which was a few months after I moved to Thailand. And, I felt like that was a full circle moment. But I honestly thought that Singto would never come back to GMMTV. And he ended up doing it. So when The X Morning was shown, the trailer was shown at a GMMTV lineup, I was actually pretty excited, not necessarily for Chris Singto, but for the plot. I actually really liked the setting. I thought it was a new setting that we hadn't seen before, like a newsroom. And also I do love X's drama. I think it needs to be well done, but I think X's drama offers a lot of good plot points and plot twists and a lot of emotional tension that for me, emotional tension is one of the most important things in show. So I was really looking forward to this show, and I was like, that's funny because I've never been that into Chris Cincto, but watch me become a Chris Cincto stan after this show, which I'm still not a Chris Cincto stan, but I like this show a lot actually. So let's get on to it. So for the synopsis is about P and Tam, or Tawan as he's sometimes called by P. So P is played by Chris Perawat and Tam is played by Cincto Prashaya. They used to be together. They met at university for journalism and they won a prize together which launched their careers. They were working at the same company which is called Good Day. And they broke up very suddenly. We don't really know at first all the details of the breakup, why they broke up, how they broke up, when exactly they broke up. But all we know is that since then, Tam has gone to Australia and P has become the star of that company and has been nicknamed the Forecast Prince. He is the one who does the weather and he's extremely beloved, but he is kind of a dick. He is a diva. He is causing problems, talking down to people. He's not a very good person. And I think, side note, this is very recurring in Chris Perawat roles, and we'll talk about it. He always kind of plays these characters that are a bit hard to love, and I find it quite interesting. So P has become a bitter person, and he has this guy that works with him who is called Te, played by U Tanabun. And one day he gets fed up, he throws coffee on the guy, and it's live streamed. So he loses all of his reputation, all of his sponsors, he loses everything. And Te, who got bullied on TV, takes his place, if you will, and becomes the head of Good Day, and is trying to undermine him over and over and over again. And it's at that time that the owner of Good Day, which is called Pyong, calls Tam over to try and save P's career, and together they work on creating a new show with Pi Gaogi and Nudi. So Pi Gaogi played by Jamie Jutapit, who also had a pairing with Cincto Prashaya in Girl Next Room, by the way. And Earn Priyapat, who plays Nudi, who is the sister of Pyong, the CEO of Good Day, and is P's number one fan. Like, she is part of P's fan club. So that's why she's so invested in making his career bloom again, if you will. So that's the basic synopsis. And of course, so they have to work together even though they hate each other. At least P hates Tam. And yeah, that's the basis of it. Then let's go on to the characters, even though I've already kind of presented the main ones. So first we have P. So P at first is an asshole, a diva. He talks down onto people. You can see that he's a very bitter person, a very unhappy person, and that is likely due to his breakup with Tam. But he's also just an asshole, and there's no excuse for it, actually. And that's why he kind of gets his karma. And I talked a little bit, again, this is the third review that I'm filming today. I've just filmed Boys in Love and Breakup Service before that. And Breakup Service, I talked about how Thai dramas are very pregnant with karmic justice in them because Thailand is a Buddhist country, or predominantly a Buddhist country. And so because of that, there is almost in every show this idea of like, you receive what you put out in the world. Meaning P is a fucking asshole and he gets his comeuppance, and it's his role to kind of grow up, mature, apologize, become a better person to kind of get back to a successful state, if you will. But P is also a crybaby. I really like that aspect. He's a mama's boy. He is flirty and kind of cheesy. He's a very fun character with Tom. I really liked him. He's kind of like has a little bit of like loser or simp energy, which I kind of like. And he is a very good character because again, he has these nuances, and I like that they made him nuanced and didn't have to make him horrible but then become perfect by the end of the show, because that's not what I like. I like flawed characters. Then we have Tam. So Tam does fall a little bit more into the type of typecasting that Singto falls into, which is, and not just Singto, there's many actors, which is that like his character is a little bit bland, a little bit too perfect, too forgiving, too blah, blah, blah. And that's something that I feel like a few actors fall into it. I used to think that about Nonkun Chanon as well, where a lot of their characters kind of blend into each other because there's not a lot of variety in their characteristics and their personality. And Tam is kind of like that, but I still liked Tam perhaps the most out of all the Singto Prashaya characters, except for Earth from Friendzone, which Earth from Friendzone is not a character that I loved, but he's definitely his most interesting character because he's very layered and morally gray, and I really appreciate that. But to go back to Tam is a guy that is like ride or die. Literally, P is a little bit hard to love, and Tam is like, I'm all in, baby. So Tam is really willing to forgive everything to P, to let everything pass to P, and he even sacrifices his own life, his own career for P. And it's very noble. I just wish we would have gotten maybe a little bit more flaws from Tam, because he's a little bit, compared to P, who's more complex, he's a little bit bland, but I still liked him a lot. And yeah, I still liked him a lot. I don't know why exactly I did, but I did. Then we have Gaogi, played by Jamie. So Gaogi is, a queer icon. Gaogi is like this free spirit of a woman. She's a camera woman, dispelling cliches, okay, that cameramen have to be men. And she's like, has this thick curly hair. I love seeing curly hair representation in Thai dramas. It's very rare, even though it's not real because Jamie doesn't have curly hair. But anyways, and even if actresses like Pre-King have curly hair, they straighten it, unfortunately. But anyways, Gaogi is like, used to be dating Young, and I really liked how her relationship with Young, like at sometimes I feel like they did a little bit of will they, won't they with her and Young, which kind of annoyed me, but I've kind of liked to see exes stay friends and actually really give each other's like good advice. And I really like that. I really like that, a lot. And I really like Gaogi, even though, this show, like, the side characters are very much side characters and are not developed a lot or enough, in my opinion. And then we have Nudi. Nudi, is a fangirl. She loves P. She's there for P. And she is kind of having a will they, won't they with Gaogi. So I really wish this relationship would have been developed. I feel like they had the screen time to do it. And I'm kind of sad that we kind of were left on like, probably Gaogi and Nudi are gonna get together eventually. But I mean, it's awkward because Gaogi is Nudi's brother's ex. So I wish they would have worked through that on screen instead of kind of leaving us to figure it out in our mind and kind of go past the canon in our mind. But yeah, I still like them. They're cute. And yeah, I just wish more sapphicness from that show. P Young, I'm a little bit about. He's kind of touching. He actually is a lot more developed than even Gaogi or Nudi. He's the third most developed character after P and Tam in the show. And he is kind of like he's almost 40. He's having a crisis, especially concerning love. He cannot find anyone. He tries to change himself for his girlfriends. He's just a very like a little bit of a loser energy, kind of, yeah, but also very supportive of P even after his controversy, but at the same time quite passive. He's not that likable. When I think about it, I'm like, okay, like the actor is kind of cute and there's some moments that are kind of funny, but at the end of the day, I don't like him, especially when he said, oh, I like to date younger women. Red flag! I'm sorry, men who date younger women. He's almost 40. At some point, he dates a fucking girl who's in university, like a 20-year-old. half his fucking age. Makes me sick. Men like this make me sick, I swear to God. I know this is not that deep, blah, blah, blah. This is just in a show, but girl, the fact that they made him say that pissed me the fuck off so bad. Then we have, Utanabun playing Te. So Te is, the villain of the show. He's a very cliche villain. Not really any redeeming quality, not remotely anything lovable. And I'm saying that as I love Utanabun, but in this, he's really like, you want to slap him a little bit. And his sidekick in that is Pod Supercorn. Another one of my faves. Underrated faves at that. And he's like, he does all of Te's dirty work for him. No personality, kind of a plot device, not gonna lie. And by the end of the show, both Te and that guy, Sweet, which Pod, is playing, apparently, literally, both of them have a redemption that is pulled out of the most random thing where they just show up and they're like, you know what, we're sorry. And then they're there at P and Tam's wedding. I'm like, huh? Yang ngay wa? I don't like, I think I've made it clear enough, but I hate when Thai dramas give redemption to characters that do not deserve it, have not chosen anything for it, and should fucking go to hell. Yeah, I hate it. I hate when they do it with toxic parents, and I still hate it when they did it with Te and Suit. Then we have Rita, played by Goji, my queen, Goji Tashakorn. She's the Pyong's secretary. She's also very minor. And then we have the two moms, and we have also Arin, played by Ploypash, and we have Paul, played by Omtiti Wat, which was the most useless cameo ever. I don't know why they featured Om so much in the marketing. He was literally in the final ep fan meet, even though he's not even in the final ep. Huh? Yang guy. I don't get Paul. So Paul is he was a senior when P and Tam were in university, and P had a crush on him, but then he saw Paul date another dude, and he was heartbroken, and then P and Tam got together. And then Paul reappears when they are searching for a sponsor because he's a businessman, and he creates the smallest blip in the road. I was like, girl, this is the writing. We'll get to it. Anyways, he serves no purpose. I don't know why they didn't choose a random actor and just chose Om Titiwat. They kind of wasted Om Titiwat's time on this. I am not gonna lie. Now the cast and acting. So the cast and acting, very reduced cast. There's not much characters in this. Like most of the time, it's just P, Tam, Gaogi, Nudi, and Pyong, and even sometimes Pyong isn't even there. So there's very few characters, and obviously P and Tam carry the whole show, but I think it's honestly more of a plot-focused show than a character-focused show. The reason, again, I always talk about the difference. So most people, as I've noticed, they don't really care if the characters are developed that much if the plot of the show is great. For example, the best example for this is like action movies, right? Or superheroes movies. Like usually the most important part is solving a plot point revolving around like there's a villain taking this and I'm gonna save this, blah blah, you know what I mean? And the characters have less time to be developed because the movie or the show has to offer us so much information about the plot that they don't have that much time to give to the characters. And these shows are usually most people's favorite because they don't demand a lot of emotional relatability with the characters. And also they are easier you can just watch them and you don't have to focus that much. But character focused shows usually focus more on the character development of the character, making good characters. Meaning that maybe the plot is not going to be that interesting. Maybe there's not going to be that much plot twist or that much like climax scenes and then crazy stuff happening, but the characters are going to be more of the focus point. You are going to see them grow, change, cry, laugh, like all of this. For me, I'm more of a character focused girly, but I can still appreciate shows that are more plot focused if the plot is actually interesting. And here it was, spoiler, the case. So the cast and acting was really good. I liked the cast. I think the acting was really good. I think Chris and Singto did really, really well. They kind of ate with that one. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And again, I'm not a Chris Singto fan like that. And I really think that it's really interesting because they were broken up as a pairing for like almost 2 years, and they acted in a show about your ex coming back. I think it was just the perfect show for them, to be honest. I think it suited them well. Even like it corresponded to the type of typecasting that they get, meaning that, again, as I said, Chris usually gets like hard to love characters, kind of like likely a little bit problematic, a little bit like crybaby, blah, 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 whiny characters, let's say. And while Singto gets a little bit more like perfect and boring characters, a little bit bland characters. And I feel like these characters, P and Tam, still fit in that, these typecastings, but were still really good. I really like them. And I think they really ate with that. The acting was really good. I liked it. Now the writing, I think the writing of the show was pretty solid. And honestly, the most I have to say about it is that it's reminded me of like earlier BL shows because of many reasons. I think the way that like the villain, like Tae, is so cartoonishly villainous and then gets a random redemption. I'm like, this is something out of 2019 BL shows, like Thai BL, for real. This is like, I feel like nowadays shows are not so much like that. Usually there's not even like a big villain in nowadays, like the Thai dramas nowadays. I feel like nowadays they give, even the villain are more complex than that, and there's like plot twist and whatever. So for me, that was interesting to see how much Tae is like a cliche, and made me think of like old school BL shows. And even like the pairing, the scenes, the fan service scenes, like I feel like a lot of it, and maybe it's maybe I'm tripping and it's just because it's Chris Singto and they were in my first ever BL show or Thai drama, so that's why I'm feeling like, oh, it's old school, because it's old school for me due to the pairing. But for me, yeah, I don't know, I really like the writing for this show. I think it did still do the thing where I've been complaining about it a lot, where I feel like nowadays they make the characters kiss quite early on. Like there's no like taking your time to set up a kiss or a relationship or a I love you confession. That it's very rare to have shows like take their time. And usually it's like just of Jumpun shows. When I'm thinking about it, like all the Afghan shows have always taken their times, have them kiss like at the very least like episode 8 or something. And also, maybe not Cooking Crush, but Cooking Crush is so good. Anyways. And even Breakup Service, which again, I just reviewed, today, like also took their time to set up the ship. And I kind of prefer this kind of way of doing it. But here I think it worked. I think the Will Day, Won't Day was good. For me, the writing, one thing that annoyed me again is that they brought Paul, as I said, and they brought him to be the obstacle to P and Tam's relationship. So at this point, P and Tam have hooked up. So finally, they've kind of pushed some kind of barrier between them, because until then, like, they'd been very like bantering and bickering, but not in like a sexy way, in a like, oh, you're pissing me off way. And so finally they hooked up and they kind of like went over this threshold, right, of closeness, of intimacy. And you're thinking, oh, maybe they start flirting. Maybe they're gonna get back together. And then People shows up and he's flirting with P, by the way. Girl, Titi Wat with Chris, like zero chemistry, girl. I'm sorry, but I have to say that -0 actually. -0, girl. Not good. And it's so funny because, by the way, Titiwat and Singto Prashaya were in a love triangle show with Namtan Tibnari in like 2019 that I didn't watch. I wanted to watch it for the longest time, then I kind of forgot about it, and partly it was really messy. And Namtan ended up with and I was like, no, I want to see Namtan with Singto, so yeah. And also Namtan was with Singto in Friendzone, but he's gay in Friendzone, so they aren't together for a long time. Anyways, all of that to say, I just forgot that Singto and Namtan were together in Friendzone. Damn, that's crazy. I love the crazy pairings at GMMT. All of that to say that I wish that that obstacle felt logical, and I think it could have if they had drawn it out a little bit more and not solve the problem as soon as it arose, because basically like it arises and it's solved within 2 parts of one episode, and you're like, oh, so this didn't create any storytelling tension at all. And for me, what annoys me is that nowadays I feel, again, GMMTV shows like Thai dramas, they don't dare to actually have a frustrating or tense moment in their show. Like they'll set up obstacles to a relationship and then solve them in 1.2 seconds. And you're like, okay, so what was even the point to bring up an obstacle if it's not even gonna matter in the long term? Like, I just don't get it personally. Like, I wish that it would have actually made a difference in their getting together rather than just like a blip. Not even a blip, like something that they'll forget. And in the end, they make Paul the bad guy too, so it's not even like he has anything redeemable. So it's almost like saying, oh, you see, P, you should have never liked him when you were in university because he was a bad guy all along. I'm like, okay, but you're allowed to like other people than your like soulmate, quote unquote, or like boyfriend forever, or husband, as Tam and P get married at the end, which we'll talk about. So apart from that, I think the writing was pretty good. Again, I wish they would have developed Gaogi and Yudi more. I wanted more sapphic-ness in this. Piyong, less problematic, less like icky. Now that I think about it, like while watching the show, I didn't feel very strongly about him, but the more I think about him, the more upset I get. The more I'm like, that bitch is like weird. He's a weirdo, okay? So yeah, that was for the writing. I'm not thinking about anything very like notable about the writing. I think mostly it was really good. I like the inclusion of the cat. I do like a good pet. Okay. I do like a good pet. Next we have the cinematography. Let's face it, this was pretty basic. There's nothing really like standing out about the cinematography to me. At all, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. I like the filming of the wedding at the end, but that's just because Thai culture is so beautiful. That's literally it. Yeah. Cinematography, not really existent. Then the pace, I think the pace was really good. At first I got a little bit scared when they hooked up like I think it was by episode 5. I was like, that's pretty quick. And we still don't know why. Neither the viewers nor P knew why Tam broke up with P like 4 years ago. So I was like, are you sure you want to hook up with him before you understand why? And yeah, apart from that, I think it was pretty good. I also forgot to say in the writing part that I think the very reason for the breakup, yes, is very thin. It didn't quite bother me. I don't know why. Maybe it would have bothered me more in another show. But here in this show, I felt like it checked out. Like, I don't know. I was just vibing with it. Because usually I kind of hate when they make characters break up or do something kind of shitty. But in the end, it was for the good of the other character who got hurt all along. So in this case, Tam broke up with P because he wanted to protect P's career. And I'm like, there were so many other things you could have done. And communicating was definitely the number one thing you should have done before fucking ghosting your man and going to fucking Australia. You know what I mean? So I feel like, yeah. Is it a little bit dumb? Sure. Is it not the most solid reason and it's kind of fucking sticked in because they didn't want to make Tam unlikable? Yeah. But for me, it didn't quite bother me. Tell me if you guys like were bothered by it. I would love to know like what you thought about it. For me, in this sense of thing, I was like, okay, I don't know. I feel like, again, this was another way in which this felt so much like old school BL because it has so many tropes that like old school BLs have. And I really enjoyed it. I was like, oh my God, I'm back in 2019. Like, I liked it. I don't know. I didn't care, but yeah, the pace was pretty good. I didn't get bored once. I didn't love the wedding scenes at the end. Like the last episode was a little bit long. I must say that a little bit long, and I feel like they had already kind of removed all the tension in the previous episode, so it was kind of like, okay, so we're just gonna see them get married. But apart from that, like it was pretty cute. Like the pace was good. Ship/chemistry. So again, oh my god. So there's two ships. So first, P and Tam, I think they're perfect for each other. I really like them together. For me, they really carried this show. Because again, this show doesn't have many characters. And I really like them. I was really surprised because I was never the biggest Combob Atit, fan from Sotas. Like, I like them just fine, but I think they were really cute here. I think they balanced each other out very good. I love the chemistry of it. Like, I think the chemistry between Chris Singto was so much better than it was in the past. I think it felt very natural, very like ex-boyfriends. Like, I really liked it. I liked like all the chemistries. They also have their chemistry as best friends when they were at university, when they first got together. Like, I really liked it. I really liked all of these elements. And then we have Nudi and Gaugi. So again, super underdeveloped. I don't think the chemistry was that good, unfortunately. Yeah. I would have wanted more. Then we have the music. The music, like most GMMTV shows, pretty bland. I don't remember much. It was okay. I don't know. Then the costume design. Costume design was pretty basic, pretty good. I liked P's outfits, when especially he's meeting fans and things like that. Like, they really did make him look like very like rock star. Like, they really made him look like a celebrity. I think it worked really well. And I liked Gaugi's outfits, especially that were the dichotomy between Gaugi and Nudi, which Nudi is extremely feminine, very like in kind of a preppy way, if you will, while Gaugi is more of a not tomboy, but she's more like sporty, like she's their cameraman, like she looks like she's ready to go to the jungle, you know what I mean? She's ready to go film some animals or whatever. So I liked that dichotomy. And watching P Young in like really young looking outfits, like K-pop looking outfits, when he's almost 40 was really fun. Now the rewatchability, honestly, I feel like it's pretty high. I would definitely rewatch the show. I think it was really good. I was gonna spoil the next one. And I think it was a really nice show because it's only 10 episodes. I forgot to say that. 10 episodes is so good. I love 10 episodes show. I think this was really good. I think the stakes were good. I think the relationship was beautiful. And I liked seeing P become a better person and go back to being successful. Really nice. I would rewatch it. Then my enjoyment of the show out of 5 has gotta be a 5 for me, folks. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. Yeah, I really enjoyed the show. I was really like having a good time in front of the show. I was like really enjoying myself. I would look forward to every episode at night. I don't know, this show really made me feel, again, very old school BL. It made me feel the way I felt like 5 years ago when I watched BL shows. And yeah, it's a very weird feeling because for a long time, I've realized it was after Not Me because Not Me kind of changed everything. So since 2022, like it's been really hard for me to get into Thai dramas again. And I feel like since I started filming this podcast, it's not even since this podcast has started airing for you guys, like since I started filming it, because I started filming it super early and now I need to release that fucking podcast. I'm working on it. I mean, if you're watching this, well, I did. But in any case, I really have fallen back in love with Thai dramas. And honestly, this show participates into it because I'm like, this is so like, yes, is it the most revolutionary show? No. Is it like a lot of tropes that we've seen 5 times before? Yes. Not 5 times, 100 times before. Is it like particularly well done, incredible. No, but I really liked it. I think the relationship was really nice. The pairing was honestly one of the nicest I've seen in a while, that I like BL ships. I really like this pairing. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. And now my ratings. So yeah, I think you all are gonna be shocked probably. So the thing with this show is I'm kind of hesitating which grade I should give it, because ideally I would give it an 8.25, but that does not exist on my drama list. So I gave it an 8.5, and the 3,000 people have rated it 8 out of 10 on my drama list. So I've actually for once given a higher grade. Honestly, this grade might change. I think maybe if I ever rewatch the show in the future, I think probably in under a year it will become an 8 out of 10, because although it was a really nice show, maybe it didn't have the biggest emotional pull. I didn't relate to a lot of this show, but it was just a fun time. But I'm gonna change the grade. I just realized I can't give it an 8.5. It's an 8 for me. I've just changed the grade live. It's an 8. Because it's a really good show, but is it like particularly special? No. Okay. It's an 8. Definitely it is. But I loved it. I'm gonna be honest, I really did. I really loved it. Anyways. How I would fix it. How I would fix it is definitely develop Gaugi and Yuji more, make Young less of a creep. And also I would definitely, make the pole obstacle more, because I think that, first of all, if we ended the episode, I believe it was episode 5, when that happened, if we had ended episode 5 or episode 6, with P kind of choosing Paul and Tam being heartbroken, it could have created a lot more tension. Imagine having to wait 1 full week for the next episode to know what's gonna happen, how they're gonna solve this conflict, if P is gonna choose the right person, you know. This adds so much tension to the viewing experience, and that makes it so good. In my opinion, you cannot set up a problem unless you set it up at the very beginning of the episode and solve it at the very end. In my opinion, you should set up a big problem that you want to be kind of an obstacle to the relationship, like in one episode, and solve it in another. That's my personal opinion. But especially the reason why the people think should be a bigger deal in the show is because then when he turns around and betrays them and shoots P, okay, and it's supposed to be, and I've completely forgot to talk about the fucking crazy stranded island plot. Oh my god, that was a thing. But anyways, I would definitely fix it that way to add a lot more tension, and also so the betrayal of people at the end of the show feels more of a stab in the back, of a big deal, of a plot twist. But here it was kind of something that I don't regret giving it this an 8. Here it felt more like, oh, people was the villain all along. Okay. You know what I mean? It's kind of random. I wish they would have built up a lot more emotional, like, accountability in that, I would say. And then I had to talk about the stranded island. That was so funny. That's also a really weird moment in the writing where there's 2 episodes left and P and Tam decide out of fucking nowhere to go investigate some weird people they see on the pier near to their holiday. And it's really funny to me because at the same time, I cannot get why they do it. The whole show has been building parallels between P and Tam before their breakup and P and Tam now. So they've kept showing us old scenes versus their new scenes. So for example, there's scenes with a chapsticks, and then this chapstick causes them to hook up together for the first time again post breakup. And that happens all the time in the show. Like most of the show is built like where an old flashback will be shown and then a new scene will be shown to show how these 2 relationships like mirror each other but one was when they were young adults figuring it out, and now they are exes, they have more baggage, there's more tension between them, if you will, and there's more at stake as well. So I kind of get why they made them investigate another thing. It kind of was a good callback to what made P and Tam famous, because they won a contest in university for the best reporting, and that's what launched their career. So it's a good thing to kind of mirror. But then they end up being chased around the boat and shot at. So to avoid dying, they go in they jump in the from the boat into the sea, and they end up on a stranded island, girl. And they live there. They live there for almost the whole episode in episode 9. And they have their cute moments. And they even have sex. Girl, that unprotected sex is crazy. Okay, perhaps not the best, like, safe sex message a BL show has done. But anyways, and they get coconuts from tree. Anyway, it's fucking funny as well. I loved it. And it's such a tonal shift from the rest of the show that is spent either at the offices at Good Day or while filming near like a salt farm or things like that, like near villagers and things like that. And you're like, damn, now this trend. So it became a completely different show for an episode. And honestly, I kind of admire the bravery of doing such a crazy job inside the show. That's crazy. Anyway, so I had to mention it because that fucking girl. When I remember when episode 8 ended and I saw the preview for episode 9 and I saw them cuddling on that fucking deserted island, I was sobbing because I was laughing so hard. Like, you know what? I love when Thai dramas lean into the ridiculousness. But anyways, so definitely would, to go back to how I would fix it, make people bigger obstacles in their relationship. And Nudi and Gaogi, Pyong, and maybe make Tam a little bit less perfect and like supportive, and maybe give him like one flaw. I know it's crazy. A Singto Prashaya character having more than one flaw? Crazy. And lastly, who would like this? Honestly, I feel like most people would like this. I mean, you have to not hate Chris Singto or Chris. I know Chris used to be pretty hated. I used to not like him either. And he's grown on me a little bit these days. Yeah. So yeah, I would say you would need to not hate them. And I would say, like, especially if you're like an OG BL watcher, if you used to watch like 2018, 2019 BL shows, I think you'll like this one. Honestly, I feel like this show was quite fun. I think there is inherent tension with an ex's story, especially more so when the exes have to work together and one is trying to kind of win the other over, but the other is still so resentful, and there's like lack of communication, misunderstandings, things like that. There's so many layers to these types of stories, and I think that's why ultimately when I saw this show's mock trailer and the show was announced, I was quite excited for it because I thought this was a nice story and also a story that hadn't quite been told before at GMMTV. And I wonder why there's not more like exes BL shows, because I think that's a really good ground for interesting storytelling and like pushing some storytelling boundaries. And yeah, I really like this show. Yes, I don't think it's revolutionary. I don't think they did anything particularly like innovative here. But honestly, I think Chris and Singto did really great. Like the chemistry was on fire. And again, they never were known for having that much great chemistry on screen. I would say Chris Singto did more like fan service off screen and had more great chemistry off screen than on screen, which is crazy to say. So I really enjoyed them. Like, I'm like, okay, Chris Singto, I see you guys. Like, damn. And I'm saying that also because I've seen Chris Singto, like, in concert twice, both at the Love Out Loud Fan Fest in 2022 and also at the Pebaka concert this year, which was great, amazing. Love that concert, especially the Afghan parts, but honestly Chris Singto were really good as well. So yeah, I feel like everyone would like this show. I think it was a really fun show. And now that I'm thinking about it more deeply, there's nothing like very innovative about it, or even the things they did were never really perfect, and there's a lot of like a very small flaws that kind of build up. But frankly, I really enjoyed it, and I think that's what matters. And I really want to know what you guys thought about this show, because I think probably some people didn't like it, and I want to know if you didn't like it. Please tell me. If you liked it, tell me. Yeah, that was it for today's episode. Short and sweet. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.